Happy Thursday, you guys. Dr. B here with your coffee tip of the day. And just so you're wondering, it's still Christmas. So, peace on earth. Today's health tip, as we continue down this line, this is the fourth day in a row. And then the plan is to do these Monday through Saturday. They'll always be hosted on our YouTube channel. And then those of us that have opted into our community, you'll get a text and they'll always stay in that text thread so you can go back and review them at your leisure. But I am at my post and getting busy with my day, coordinating lab draws, coordinating other appointments, and just kind of prepping for everything. And one of the things, there was a quote that came across in a conversation yesterday, and I will tell you why. But every time you eat or drink, you're either feeding disease or you're fighting it. Okay? Let me repeat that. Every time you eat or drink, you're either feeding disease or you're fighting it. Now, we coach this a lot when it comes to working with people on their day-to-day nutrition. And one thing, like a good rule of thumb, I grew up in the country, and a good rule of thumb when it comes to your water source, if livestock will not drink it, you shouldn't either. And so when we talk about this, one of the things that comes up, rule number 10 in our success tips, those of you who have been through structured coaching with us, rule number 10 is, if you would not put it in your dog dish, you probably should not put it in your body. And so those of you who know Max know that I would never put Coca-Cola in his water bowl. I would never give him a sheet pan of lasagna, because I would be fearful that even if he were to eat those things, it would make him sick. Okay, so yesterday in the coaching realm, I had a new client, Jeannie. This is for you. Great ask. She's doing her shopping. She has her list of do's and don'ts, like the good foods that are going to nourish her body, and then the bad foods, the ones that will rob her of her health. And so she was actually in the grocery store and she was shopping for mayonnaise. Now, if you shop for mayonnaise, and you know, if you've ever made homemade mayonnaise, there are 4 ingredients. There are an oil of choice, and I'll go through that in a second. There are egg yolks. There are lemon juice, and then there's salt. That's it. You need fat, you need oil, you need an emulsifier, and you need the lemon to keep it from turning. So there's very, very simple. It's 4 ingredients. And one thing that you know about, if you've been around us in coaching, simple is always better. One of the things we always preach is try to steer towards 1 ingredient foods, nothing out of a box, a bag, or a drive-through window. So she was in the grocery store, and when I finish this and I share this, I will post her choices. She had Hellmann's, she had a avocado mayo, she had Chosen, which is a brand that we recommend, and I'll tell you why, and then she had a plant-based mayo. Now, what you will see when you start reading labels, there are 4 oils that we recommend that are approved. Number 1 is going to be olive oil. Number 2 is going to be coconut oil. Number 3 is going to be avocado oil, and a 4th fat is going to be grass-fed butter or ghee. Okay? If you know anything about how those are manufactured, they're minimally processed. When you look at this brand of mayonnaise, it says right here on the bottom, 100% avocado oil. So I asked her to read the ingredients of the other 2 that she had, and sure enough, the very first one, which was Hellmann's, it was an avocado-based mayo. Kraft Foods makes one, Best Mayonnaise or Real Foods makes one, but the first ingredient was soybean oil. And so we do not want any seeds oil. We don't want soybean oil. We do not want cottonseed oil. We don't want any engineered oils, because they wreak havoc on our gut and they create a whole host of other problems when it comes to your endocrine system and also your hormones. Now, I will tell you, she looked at the ingredients of the plant-based mayo. And remember, I told you the 4 ingredients for real mayo, super simple things, but plant-based mayo, you have palm kernel oil, you have canola oil, you have all of these other highly, highly processed oils that can be rancid, and I call them frankenfoods. So they do nothing to nourish your body. So my point of this post, and remember what I said initially, when you eat or drink something, you have to think, is this nourishing you, or is this robbing your health? And what I will tell you is simple is always better. And one thing that I always say, being little Jesus here, Eat the food that God created in its natural form. And you're never going to convince this guy that the food that God created in their real form are going to be detrimental to us. But you can convince me all day long that the more processed, the more packaged, the more refined our food sources and supply become, the more likely it is to rob us of our health. So that is your health tip for today. And the goal is to keep just giving you information so that you can level up, you can educate yourself, and most importantly, we're going to put you in the driver's seat of your own health. So if you have any other questions, drop them in the comments. I will post this to our social platforms. If you'd like to get these delivered directly to you by text, then just reply healthy tips, and then we'll make sure you get added to that. Okay? Dr. B with a Wellness Progression. Make it a great day.